I'm a bit nervous talking to adult groups. I'm used to kids, and you can do stupid things in front of kids, they don't mind. And Karen made a wonderful suggestion. She goes, well, maybe you should do something. Karen's going, I did. Maybe you should do something with us that we usually do with the kids, and to make yourself more comfortable. I thought that'd be a great idea. And since you are the mayor's wife, is that correct? Would you join me up front, please? No, come to the front. Come here with me for a moment. We're going to sing a song. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, we'll have to come back here a little bit. Can you see us okay? We want to make sure everyone in Fairfield sees the mayor's wife. Okay, this is a nonsense song we do with the kids. It's just for the fun of it. I tell the kids that you can attract moose by singing this song. I sing here in Fairfield for a long time for moose. Now, of course, we can't just embarrass her. See, I'm not embarrassed by doing this. I've been doing this all my life. But we'll embarrass you as well, but your backs will be to the camera, so that'll be okay. Now, we're going to sing a line, and I'll sing a line and do a motion. And then you will sing it and do it back. Okay? And we'll have practice with you once, and then we'll have the entire group get up for one chorus. It's a very simple, nonsense song. Are you ready? You really don't need any singing skills. No, exactly. Humba, humba.
Humba, humba.
A tiki tiki tumba.
A tiki tiki tamba.
Musa, musa, musa.
A musa, musa.
Hey, all the way, all the way, all the way.
Hey, all the way, all the way, all the way.
I'll sing a line, and you repeat it after. Humba, humba.
Humba, humba.
Tiki tiki tumba.
Tiki tiki tamba.
Musa, musa, musa.
Musa, musa, musa.
Hey, all the way, all the way, all the way.
Hey, all the way, all the way, all the way.
Humba, humba.
Humba, humba.
Tiki tiki tumba.
Tiki tiki tamba.
Musa, musa, musa.
Musa, musa, musa.
Hey, all the way, all the way, all the way.
Hey, all the way, all the way, all the way.
Okay, I feel. Can you hear me? It's attach that to here. Okay, I'm all hooked up. I'm all mic'd up. Can I just put it in my pocket? How's that? Okay. My name is Therese Comiskey. That's not my better half. And I have been a naturalist with the Jefferson County Conservation Board for 8 years now. Had my anniversary on May 1st, which is also my birthday. So I started my best job I've ever had on the best day, and have enjoyed my 8 years here. I am continually surprised by how many people I meet who, one, have never heard of Jefferson County Park. That wouldn't be any of you, would it be? And two, have lived here much of their life and have never been to Jefferson County Park. Raise your hand if you have been to Jefferson County Park. Oh, you guys are good. Oh, no!
But I don't live here.
Oh, and where do you live at?
Not Pleasant.
Oh, that's just a mere throwaway. I'm sure you've been to the Nature Center over in Henry County then.
Yes, I have.
Good. Well, they'll keep her then. That counts. I do meet a lot of people who come to the Nature Center and say, oh, this is great. How long has this been here? Oh, 8, 9 years. And how long have you lived here? 20. They lived here 20 and they haven't been out yet. I'm here today to tell you about some of the opportunities we have at Jefferson County Park and all our parks coming up this summer. Some of you may have children, yes? Anybody with children or grandchildren? Okay, we have some wonderful programs coming up this summer, a lot of different opportunities if you are any way an outdoors person. And you may not be an outdoors person. You may not like the outdoors. You may be a person whose idea of camping is the first floor of the Hilton. That's your idea of camping. And that's okay. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them that I'm a naturalist that I do not enjoy tent camping. Camping on the ground is to me called homelessness. And I don't like that. I prefer something where I like to hike. I'll go for day hikes, and I do bike a lot. So I enjoy riding my bike or hiking and going out and doing nature study, and then go back someplace nice and soft and comfortable with the shower and everything like that for the evening. But there are some great opportunities for everybody out at the park this summer. First of all, if you have children, grandchildren, neighbor kids who you know of, who maybe they play in the backyard a lot and they're making a lot of noise, and you'd like to get them out of the place for just an hour or two, every Monday this summer, just about every Monday, I can't say every, we have a thing called Creature Features. And kids come out to the park either at 10 in the morning or at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The same program is offered. And they learn about all the different wonderful creatures we have just around here in this area. I know a lot of kids who can tell me great things about the dinosaurs. Incredible. I mean, I don't know anything about dinosaurs, and kids will tell me all the names and all the history on them, or they know about whales, which we don't have a lot of whales here in this vicinity. And they know a lot of background on the incredible animals, but they don't know their own backyard. They still have a fear of bats. They don't mind whales. They don't mind dinosaurs, but bats. Kind of worried about those. So what I do in Creature Features, we try to offer them an opportunity to learn about those animals in their backyard. We're doing ones this summer on frogs, my personal favorite because my nickname's Toad. And we also have my favorite snakes. I know for some of you, you probably don't think there's anything such as a favorite snake or a good snake at all, but I do love two snakes in particular I'm very fond of, a hognose snake, and we're also doing a program on bats. I'm sure you'll all come out for that one. Beetles, woodpeckers, squirrels, daddy longlegs, and pond life, all different pond life. So if you have neighbor kids, you have kids of your own, you have grandchildren, nieces and nephews, they can come out to these programs. You don't have to have kids to participate, but all kids have to be accompanied by an adult. So let's say Karen brought all the neighborhood kids out. She could be represented as one of the adults there, and that would be fine. And my goal there is to try to make it somewhat of a family affair too, to get brothers and sisters going together. Last year we averaged 90 kids every Monday, which was wonderful. And so these are available if you want them. There's these bright, lovely peach salmon or whatever color you call this. So if you are interested, you may take one and pass it down. Also, we have a very special Trails Day activity coming up in June. And I would really like your help in spreading the news about this, because so far, although we've advertised it in the newsletter and also in the newspaper, we have gotten a very low turnout with it. And we'd like another 10 to 15 people. We have a special Trails Day activity for senior citizens and for people who are physically handicapped. Those of you who've been out to the park, most of you have probably somehow taken one of the trails, or maybe you've been camping, but there are a lot of people who never seen the park from anything more than the car. They're sitting in the car and maybe they're being driven in, they get a look at our picnic area, but they don't get to see our lovely trails. We have 7 miles of trails in Jefferson County Park alone. Lovely wildflowers. It meanders through by ponds and over creeks and in prairies. They're lovely trails. So what we're offering in June is people who are seniors, or those people who may be just physically impaired, even if they're only in their 20s and maybe they're not able to take the trails. They can sign up for this special Trails Day. It's only $3. And we'll give them a ride through the trails in the park in a 5-man golf cart. So they'll have a chance to sit and be nice and relaxed. We'll stop along the way and see some of our new cabins we have in the park now. Stop at our new shelter for we'll have like refreshments and stuff there. So if you know someone who would enjoy this, who you think would enjoy getting out to the park. The only thing is it is an open air vehicle, and that might for some people affect some people not being able to go. So we only have about a dozen people signed up so far, and we would like to get at least 30 if we could. So if you know of anybody who might be interested, please tell them about this special day. And you can, if you want one of those, you can pass it around. I don't have as many of those. I didn't know if people would be interested or not. Okay. Also, I don't know if we have any canoers in the group. Anyone who's ever canoed before? Got a few canoers? Badly, but you... No problem. We have actually 2 canoe accesses in our parks. If you've ever been to Turkey Run Wildlife Area, which probably most of you haven't unless you're hunters, it is a hunting area, but this time of year it's a beautiful place to walk. It's about 415 acres. And there is a canoe access right there at Turkey Run. You can put it on Cedar Creek, and you can float 6 miles down to Round Prairie Park, which is one of our picnicking camping areas, and you can take out there. We have a canoe access there. Now, a lot of people, when they think of canoeing, and they don't think of Cedar Creek. It's kind of small. There are times in the summer when the water is low. But about 6-7 years ago, I took a canoe trip down it with Sally Neff and Sandy Dimmitt. Sandy had this huge canoe, and I wanted to see this part of the river before we put the canoe accesses in. And it's exquisite for a small stream. Great horned owls flying back and forth in front of us. Great blue herons. It'd pick up and it'd go off down the river a little ways and it would land, and as we got closer to it, it would pick up again and go off down the river a little ways. We had low water at the time, so there were a lot of sandbars exposed, but on the sandbars you'd see all sorts of sandpipers and different kinds of water birds, big swarms of damselflies and dragonflies, some of the most exquisite wildlife viewing I've ever had, and it was just on a small stream, and just beyond the trees there were farm fields, and you just were not aware of it. It's very secluded. Only 1 or 2 places along it where there isn't any tree line, but most of it's tree lined. Very beautiful. And if you're into any kind of geology, some wonderful rock formations along there too. So we had a great time. I actually did nothing. I sit in the middle of the boat. I took notes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And those guys, those did all the paddling. It was actually a fun trip. As we started off on the trip, Tyson, who was quite young at the time, he was reading a book on the Titanic, and he looked up from the book and he went, "Did you know that on its maiden voyage, the Titanic sunk?" And he went back down. And Sally goes, "That's not something we want to hear on our maiden voyage canoe trip." Sure enough, 2 miles before the end, we sprung a leak. We had scraped bottom, and we're leaking, and we're taking in water, and I'm basically scooping it out the whole way. And we got there thinking, okay, we'll get out. But it had rained quite a bit, and but we didn't have the canoe access in there, and the banks were muddy. You'd step in and you were up to your knees in mud. It took us forever to get out of there. But it was a lot of fun. And now we do have canoe access, so you can get in and out real easy. So if that's something you want to do this summer and you have access to a canoe, and it's not a difficult ride, it's not a wide river, you don't have to worry about lots of big currents, unless of course it just rained 3 or 4 feet, then I wouldn't recommend it. So it is an exquisite ride. If you're a camper, we have 3 campgrounds: Matcoon Access, Jefferson County Park, and Round Prairie Park. We have lots of different picnic areas. We have 6 different picnic shelters in several different parks. And our brand new one in Jefferson County Park, has anyone been there yet? It's beautiful, isn't it? It's half enclosed. It has countertops and sinks, and it overlooks our new 3.5 acre pond. And it is, once you have a picnic in that shelter, everything else just looks shabby. It's a really nice shelter, and I would never say that about a picnic shelter, like, ooh, but it is fantastic, and built by our staff, mostly by staff. Matter of fact, last fall we knew we'd be building it, and Dennis and I had a little mix-up. We kind of, you know how when 2 people are taking messages, sometimes they don't always get on the right place, and we took down 3 reservations for 2 shelters all at the same time. Doesn't seem right. So we actually went into Wendell, who's our maintenance supervisor, and said, "How long would it take you to build that 3rd shelter?" And he goes, "When do you need it by?" And we said we need it a month from whatever. And he had it done by that time. Didn't have the sinks in yet, or some of the finished touches, but so leave it to Wendell to pick up where we leave our messes. But also at the park, if you are into camping, we do have 3 campsites. I already got 2 campsites, already did that. And if you're a fisherman or a fisherwoman, we have lots of different ponds, some of the best pond fishing, I would say, especially like Round Prairie Park has 2 nice ponds. At Jefferson County Park, we have 4, lots of good fishing. This is one of the few places I've ever been where there's no natural lakes, so everybody has a pond. build a pond and good fishing around here. Does anyone have any questions about what we have available at Jefferson County Park, or any place else for that matter?
Let's talk about the carry in, carry out.
Oh, yeah. If you're camping at any of our camping areas, you're fine as far as your garbage. We do provide garbage cans. But if you're picnicking now in our parks, it's carry in, carry out. So if you bring in a big load of garbage, we'd like you to carry it out a big load of garbage. And they started that, I guess, a couple years back in the state parks. It has gone well for them, and we decided to start it this year at Jefferson County Park and our other areas. We have 9 areas in all. And that kind of throws people, because we had a few groups up this year, school groups who stayed all day and did not realize that we didn't have places available for them. So it's just something to keep in mind if you do come picnicking. We are taking reservations on the new shelter and our old shelters for any kind of get-together you may have. And we do have 2 brand new camping cabins. And they don't have restroom facilities, but they do have nice, comfortable bunk beds, refrigeration, not a big one, cute little refrigerator. They will have air conditioning, believe it or not, and heat. So if you come in, you want to take the chill off a cool morning, you can turn on the little heater. And if you want to take the heat off a warm afternoon, you can turn on the air conditioning. And they're already reserved for this weekend. If you stay for 2 nights or more, they're $20 a night. You stay for just 1 night, it's $30. And they fit about 6 people. 6 people. They're not huge cabins, but they're comfortable cabins. And I've already stayed in them. I was the first person. I tried them out for you, and they're pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's a great activity. If you go into our campground at Jefferson County Park and just drive way to the back, there's an open space back there that used to be a large tent camping area, and that's been turned over just to the cabins now. So it's a nice site. It's fairly secluded, and it's fairly quiet too, except for the frogs. Charge for the shelters, yes. The older shelters are $10 for a 6-hour time period, and we're usually reserved from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, and then 4 in the afternoon till 10. And then the new one is $15 for a 6-hour time period, which is pretty good. Really good price.
What kind of fish do you get?
They have them stocked with catfish, bluegill, and bass. Now the new pond, we've had people fishing out there, but it hasn't been stocked that long, so they're not really big. I mean, there are some bluegills in there about this size, but you might have to wait 1 more year to get really good fishing out of there. But I had my first try at ice fishing this winter. Dennis took me out ice fishing. A lot of people hear that and go, why? Why did you go ice fishing? Why would you sit on a bucket by a hole in the ice? But if you like to fish, ice fishing is really a lot of fun. It's very quiet. Make sure you bring extra gloves and wear your long underwear. But it's just very peaceful, very nice. I like it. Then I like the outdoors.
What about bicycle trails?
You can bike in Jefferson County Park. We are asking bicycle riders to reduce their speed and use their manners when they're in the parks. We have had a few complaints from hikers that bikers kind of speed past them and spin them off the trail and stuff. And it's just a matter of, I'm a hiker and I'm also a bike rider, and I think all you have to do is when you come up behind a person is say, passing on your left, and let them know you're coming. And so you can take any of the trails in the park. And every spring the guys try to get out and repair any little problems we might have on the trails, and most of them are pretty good condition right now. There's a few of them that need a few holes filled and stuff. But
The one that starts like Oakwood and ends up at Jefferson County Park or something like that?
you can start on West Jackson Street, which is a couple blocks beyond Oakwood Nursery, and get on the Irma Hartman Trail there, named after Terry Deer's mom, and drive through Oakwood Nursery, and then that enters up in the northernmost part of our park. And they are looking to get a trail from Jefferson County Park over to Cedar Creek Timber, which is another one of our areas. And that's our next step, is to go over there. And the big factor is if we can get a bridge to get over to that park, because it'd be a really big bridge over the Cedar Creek. Not that Cedar Creek's that big, but the span between it is. So that's their next goal, is to get that little stretch there. And that would be nice if we can, but you never know. We'll see. Yes? I don't have any, just one big one, but I do have this booklet that we put out. It tells you about all of our 9 areas, and it gives you a mini map of each of the areas. Now, I have to warn you that the maps are aesthetically pleasing, very nice, but they're not always to scale. So sometimes when you take a trail, you think, I'm going on a really short trail here, and it might actually be, because you look at the picture and go, well, it's only this long. Okay, so it isn't always to scale when you think about it. We are doing a new activity in Jefferson County Park. We have an Eagle Scout working on a project of marking the trails, color coding the trails so you'll know how far you're walking and where you are. If you're familiar with the park, then it's you don't really have a problem of getting lost. But if you've only been in the park a few times, and maybe you want to explore, but you only have an hour to explore, you don't want to get lost, they should have this set up by June. You'll be able to go, I'm on the blue trail, I turn left here to go back to the nature center, so all be color coded. So that'll be a nice addition that they're working on right now.
You guys have canoes for rent, or you have to bring your own?
Say that again?
You have canoes for rent, or
You have to bring your own, yeah. As of now, we do not have canoes for rent. If it ever took off, it would be a nice thing, but it's not something they're looking at this time. So if you like to bike or hike or walk or canoe, we were just recently listed in Runner's World, I believe it was, as a great place to run. Jefferson County Park. Had a lady call from the magazine and get information and everything. Ooh, we're living it up, let me tell you. Oh, boy, you're good. She's good. We do have a butterfly garden. This is where we plant butterflies and see if they grow. No, just kidding. Everything we plant, there are 4 butterflies, and we usually have people come in, or either a group or an individual or a family, and they will adopt a plot, and they take care of that plot by weeding it and planting flowers that will attract the butterflies in different stages of their life. Our butterfly garden, usually, we don't have a lot of spring flowers in it, unfortunately, but it usually looks awesome mid-summer to late summer. That's the best time to come for it. If you are a person who likes to garden or just has so much free time, you just don't know what to do with it, you can adopt a plot, and some plots are already established and you can just go up and weed them once or twice a summer and water them, and others do need to be planted from start. So if you're interested, you love butterflies and you love flowers, it's a great project. And we did lose a few people this year that had been with us for 4 or 5 years, so we are looking for people to take over plots. And so if you're a person who gets therapy from gardening, it's a great activity. Or that's at Jefferson County Park too, yeah. It might be listed on this map. I'm not quite sure if they ever put it on this map or not. I'm not sure. Any other questions? Well, if you haven't been out to Jefferson County Park yet, Jan, sometime if you're in the area, Jan, you can bring your family by and stop by the Nature Center, visit me, see all the great stuff in the Nature Center, and then take a trip around our trails. And if you come, like when the guys aren't using the little Cushman truckster, I'll put you in the truckster and we'll go tooling around the trails together. But don't tell anybody. That's a lot of fun. And of course, this time of year, if you haven't been out, you have missed. God in all His glory has done great things in spring, and the frogs are chirping, and the migration of the warblers through the area were fantastic. Different species of butterflies have returned, or I should say come out of hibernation for some of them. It's just a great time of year to get out into nature and see all the stuff that's going on. Each season there's different sights, different smells, different sounds, different things to look at, and you should get out as often as you can and visit our county parks. Thank you. Yes? Well, this is the cicadas, which a lot of people call locusts, which are the big things that buzz a lot in the trees in the summer. There's locusts that have different cycles. Some are on just a couple year cycle, 1 or 2 years, and then there are what we call the 17-year cicadas, which this is their summer. They're coming. And you can usually tell a 17-year cicada from other cicadas by their coloring. They have more red on them. So if you happen to pick up a cicada and talk to it or something, if it has a lot of red, it is a 17-year locust. And they should be out this summer, and you'll hear a lot of noise, more than probably other summers before. Oh, you'd have to ask me that. I'm not quite sure. I read it, but I don't remember. As soon as you hear them buzzing, that's when they've emerged. That's when they've emerged. Yep. Okay? Okay. Thank you very much.